Hey guys, this is Taters coming in with another jungle guide, and today I'll be talking about Nocturne. Nocturne is a really scary jungler. He's got really quick clear times, he's got really strong ganks early, mid, and he's great in team fights late, and he's really a force to be reckoned with. I'll take a quick look at him here. So, here's Nocturne. Here's his basic skin. We got some of his other ones, Frozen Terror. You get Void Nocturne and Ravager Nocturne, which is the one I own. Some of Nocturne's abilities, they all really to help him in the jungle. And the great one is his passive. Every 10 seconds he kind of hits all enemies nearby and deals extra damage, and it's reduced by auto attacks by 1 second. This helps to really clear buffs and even big waves when you need to clear certain wave late game. Duskbringer is his main damage ability in the jungle. He sends out like a trail, and if it hits an enemy and they start walking, the trail will follow them, and it gives him movement speed and attack damage when he's on it, and he also ignores unit collision. Shroud of Darkness is really similar to Sivir's Spell Shield. When you level it up, first of all, you get a passive attack speed increase. But when you use it, and if you get hit by a spell, you absorb the spell, you get extra attack speed. It doubles the passive, basically. And then there's Unspeakable Horror, which is a fear. You put it down on an enemy, it deals damage each second, and then it fears the target if they don't get out of range by the end of it. That's a really great skill for ganks. And then his ult is what really makes him strong for ganks out of the jungle. It's semi-global. It gets pretty big by level 16. When he casts it, all enemies lose vision of the map and of near wherever they're standing, and then he can choose to dash to whoever's in range. And then when you dash it, then you can use all your skills and deal as much damage as you can. As far as runes and masteries go, I run the general jungle rune page, which is attack speed marks, armor seals, magic resist per level glyphs, and swiftness quintessences, some movement speed. As far as masteries go, I used to run a very heavily offensive page, but I realized Nocturne can get kind of squishy if you're coming in for ganks, especially at lower health, like under 500 health or so it can be kind of dangerous. So I run the general defensive jungle page, someone you would run on like a Maokai or a Mumu or something. Except instead of going 0-21-9, I go 9-21-0. I usually start off in the offensive tree, and I get the attack damage and exhaust specs, and then I spec it to the attack speed and armor pen, because that 10% really helps out a lot. In the defensive tree, I always make sure to get the tough skin and bladed armor. That's really important when you're hitting those jungle creeps. They'll start dealing damage to themselves. I also get the gold on smite. I get full armor to help against the jungle creeps, and then I get 2 in MR. Then I run the health per level and flat health, and then I run the movement speed. It really helps with the early ganks. And then I get 1 into Juggernaut to increase the health and reduce incoming damage. So now I'm going to segue you guys into the loading screen of the last match I played. I'll give you some details about the picks and what you should do in that certain situation. So in this match you can see both the teams right now. So mid lane we have Ryze versus Orianna, which is it's a pretty even match. I feel like Ryze has a bigger advantage, especially when he gets up close, because he can deal a lot of damage to the Orianna. And then our top lane is Riven versus Olaf, which Riven almost always has the advantage. She can really burst down the Olaf quickly and really shut him down. And the bottom lane is Taric Ezreal, which is a really strong lane early and mid game. And bottom lane, Nunu Vayne, which is it's okay, but Vayne is really weak early, and that's where Ezreal really shines. And in the jungle, we have me as Nocturne versus an Amumu. And I know Amumu is a slow jungler, so I'm going to try and take advantage of that during the game. So this is the start of the game. To start off, I almost always go boots and 3 health potions. And the first skill I usually get is Duskbringer because it just brings a lot to Nocturne's damage early game, and especially to clear the jungle. There's really no need to get your Unspeakable Horror unless you know you're doing a level 1 and you know you're going to fight. But even then, this is more damage that's 100% going to happen. This doesn't deal as much as you think it would. It deals 50 damage to start, and this deals 60. But it also leaves a trail for 5 seconds, letting you trail. So right away, you see over here, I asked my team for a really nice leash on blue and wolves because I don't want to smite the blue because I want to go steal Amumu's red. As I said, he's a kind of slow jungler, so I know that and I want to take advantage of it. So I'm going to have Riven and Rise deal as much damage as they can to start. So the buffs start at 140. So I like to just wait around unless we know we're going to invade. You see over here, Tarek puts a ward down by the red just to make sure Mumu's not over there. Just to keep me a little safe. So, these are about to spawn, so I like to position myself on one side, and right when they spawn, I hit with a Duskbringer. And you see here they deal some good damage, and I take out the big wolf, I'll deal some damage to the small one, and then Umber Blades will take out the rest of them in the camp. So you see over here at 155, Blue's going to spawn. And so Rise is going to give a nice strong leash. You see here he lands 2 auto attacks and an overload, and Riven deals some good damage. So as this thing is running away, Riven comes back and deals a little bit more damage. He leaves it at about 200 health, which is just about 4 auto attacks. And I take that out, and then once I kill this, I know I have to get over to red quick, so I toss on a Duskbringer, and then I run over and I put a level into Unspeakable Horror just in case Amumu comes over to the red. So I come up this way because I know Amumu's going to be at his Wraith soon because he always starts blue. So you see here I'm going to toss a Duskbringer over the wall, and I'm going to leash the red over into the brush. And I'm going to toss Unspeakable Horror on it so it deals a little bit less damage on me because you get really low during these camps. So I usually toss on a health potion. And then once I have a health potion on, I always look at my smite damage. You see it's 470. So always keep a click on here. You see it right to 468 and I smited it. So I leave these two just so he has to re-kill him. And I see here mid is open for a gank. They're a little pushed past where they should be. So I try and get an Unspeakable Horror on, but I miss. And but I blew a flash anyway, so I did what I needed to. So you see there I got really low. I was under 200 health, so I pop a health potion. And now Amumu's really far behind. You see him over here killing that buff. So I'm going to take out these Wraiths, just send in a Duskbringer and do what you can. And you see here Umber Blades can take out those. And you know, I'm really low, so I can't go do the double golems because I was like 300 health, so I'm going to go over and do wolves again. It's always about prioritizing your things. So you see down here they get first blood. Ezreal dies later on. But I ended up just taking these wolves. You see here I'm almost level 4, and Mumu's going to be coming over near top, and you're going to see he's a much lower level than me, especially after I clear out this red buff. But see Mumu just walked by, he's level 3, but I'm just about to get level 4 right here. So I always toss that Unspeakable Horror down when I know the buffs are going to be dealing big damage. So I used my other health potion a while ago, but I smite that down to get the kill. And so this is when it's really dangerous. I don't always recommend this, but I saw I was close to getting a Heart of Gold, so I jungled with really low health. I also knew that none of those games were really leaving, so I knew it was safe enough. So I just take out these camps. I know that the buffs give me some health. But you see here I'm at 690 and I saw my Wraiths just spawned. So I'm going to try and get about 825 gold before I go back. Just to get a Heart of Gold and get that gold per 10 going. So again, I just do that normal Duskbringer into Unspeakable Horror. And just take out these camps. And I'm going to go and do wolves because I know that they won't kill me at about 120 health. And I know that my Umbra Blades will be up to give me some health when I hit them. So I'm just going to send in the Duskbringer and Unspeakable Horror, that big wolf, and I take it out and I get a little bit of health back from it. So I end up just taking these up, and you see right down here I'm at enough to get a Heart of Gold. So far what I've done is at level 1 I get Duskbringer, at level 2 I get Unspeakable Horror, at level 3 I get Duskbringer again, and then at level 4 I get Shroud of Darkness, and then I max Duskbringer as the first skill. So you see I grab a health potion too. And then the next skill that I level is Unspeakable Horror, and the last skill at level 18, your level is Shroud of Darkness. Always take your ulti whenever you can, so at 6, 11, and 16, always get that. So here I am, you see in chat I'm asking Ryze if he has flash because I see that Orianna's kind of pushed up mid a little bit, and I want to gank her because I have exhaust up too. So you see I'm going to come around and I see that she leaves because she's kind of scared of where she's at. So while she leaves, I'm just going to take a Wraith Camp. You always got to keep an eye out on the map to see what's going on. So I'm just going to grab this Wraith Camp. You see Ryze was going to go back, but he decided he's going to push up a little bit because he thought Orianna went back. So I take this Wraith Camp and I see that Orianna is still hanging around. So I come over to this bottom brush and I give her a ping. So you see here, I'm just going to give her a ping, and I'm going to have Ryze flash and snare her, and you're going to see I'm going to go in right away once he goes in. See? Flash snares, I hit with a Dustbringer and an Unspeakable Horror, and I end up picking up the kill. So really you always got to watch around the map and see who's open to ganks, if they have wards or not and whatnot. And always, no raging in solo queue. Always give people their compliments when they deserve it. So give Ryze a little good job there. So I just go and clear some camps again. I know that bottom lane's doing really well because they got first blood, even though Vayne got a kill after it. It doesn't matter because Ezreal got the first blood, so he's doing a lot better. So I figure I'll give you a little bit of rundown on these buff timers. You see here we're coming up on 6:45, which means at right around 7 minutes, you see I say they're blue soon. The initial spawn is at 1:55, so say they kill it by 2 minutes and 10 seconds. At 5 minutes later, at 7 minutes and 10 seconds, that's when their blue's going to spawn. So I asked them if they want to go get the blue. You see I'm at a good amount of health right now. I have my ulti and exhaust, so we're going to all go in. I ping all the lanes to come up and help that blue. So you see right here, we're going to come up, and I'm going to sit in this brush. You see Ryze is going to pick this Orianna right off. See, he deals some good damage to her, and we see this blue just came up. So there's going to be a kind of little skirmish going on here, and it's going to be a good fight. So we see a Moomoo's over there. He's coming in. He's only level 4, and I'm level 6. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to Unspeakable Horror him, and I'm going to hit him with a Dustbringer. You see here, we end up taking him out, and we see that there's a Nunu over here. So I'm going to go back to this buff even though I'm reset. I'm going to try and deal whatever damage I can. So I'm going to take this. You see Vayne's coming in too. Ryze lands some damage over the wall. He gets hit in. I try and land whatever I can on Vayne just to shoo her away. And you see that Nunu gets hit, but he flashes away. And my Unspeakable Horror got unleashed. So I'm going to smite that, and I'm going to take the timer. So you see right in chat, it was around 7 minutes 54 seconds when I took that blue. So when I walk away, I'm going to make sure to put that in chat. I'm going to make sure I remember it the next time it comes around. So like, oh, actually, yeah, so it was 7 minutes, 55 seconds is when we killed it. So 5 minutes from then is 12 minutes, 55 seconds. I like to label it as TB, as they're blue. So I take these buffs, or those wraiths, and I'm going to walk over and give Ryze this blue. If you take one blue, you should always make sure your mid has at least one blue. So if they're taking yours, make sure you give your mid theirs. You only really need the first blue as a jungler. So I'm going to give this to Ryze. I'm just going to run over, deal some damage to it. Remember that you have bladed armor as a passive, so try not to take any damage when you're walking away from the blue. Because it could proc that little tiny bit of damage and kind of steal it from your mid, and you don't want that. That kind of messes up their whole lane. So you see here I just continue maxing this Dustbringer. It's at level 4 right now, level 7. So I'm going to go top because I see that that Olaf was kind of low. I know that Riven just used her ult, but I saw a Mumu coming up, so I was ready for a counter gank, and she's at full health. So here we go. We're going to run. We see he missed his bandage toss, so I'm going to come in. She's going to turn on him. I'm going to land all my spells, and I'm just going to start auto-aiming. So you see right here, I take a lot of damage. I'm trying to get away. I didn't want to pop my ult because that could kind of be a waste. So you see Riven here, she runs and picks up the kill. You see Ryze is running up the map right now. And so that gives him no way to get out. So she's going to be double buffed. So she just picks that up. While I'm dead, I'm watching this at the moment. But right after she kills him, there we go. She's got the double buffs. It's a good buff transfer. So you see Ryze is taking some damage here as Orianna comes up. But we see Riven moves in for the nice double kill. So you see, after I got my Heart of Gold, I'm going to try and build towards the Wriggles. I didn't quite have enough. I need 150 to finish off the item. But I'm just going to go and clear a camp or two and get back and pick that up. And as for the small camps, blue and red spawn every 5 minutes after you kill it. The Wraith camp right here, this spawns every 55 seconds, I believe. So you pick that up, you'll be able to go and do maybe 2 camps and then pick it up again. Wolves and big golems spawn at every minute. So after you kill them, you can do whatever. So I see that bottom is going in for a fight here. Ezreal just took some damage and Vayne used her ult already. So I'm going to ulti in on Nunu. I'm going to pick him up. And I see Vayne is running, and I know I'm full health, so I can take her out, even if she flashes. So I spell shield here, and she hits me with her knockback, but it doesn't matter because I ended up spell shielding it. So that gives me some attack speed, and I hit her with a Dustbringer. You see here how fast I'm moving on that? So I end up hitting her twice, and end up finishing her off right near her turret. And I see that mid is missing, so I need to be really careful. So I'm going to run down and just try and lifesteal some health off those creeps. I'm going to run down while the minions tank the turret, and I end up getting out of there. We ended up picking up a nice kill right there. So now they want to do dragon, but we're all kind of like, I'm a little low. I don't have mana. We know Orianna's right there. So we're going to have to pull that push that away for a little bit. And so I'm about to go back, but I realize I'm at about 900, almost 1,000 gold. And I know that a recurve bow is at 1,050 gold, and that's going to give me a real big damage increase. I'm not going to buy it right away. Instead, I'm going to finish off my Wriggles because it's much more helpful in the jungle. So remember, I timed their blue buff earlier. It says 1255 their blue. So what I do is I pick up a Wriggles, I pick up a ward, and 3 health potions. Just because I know we're going to be fighting soon. So I realize it's going to be really important to stay at a good amount of health. And also because I don't have my ulti or exhaust up. So their blue is spawning in a minute from now at 12:55. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over and take my red so I have it for the fight. I see Nunu walking over here. I wasn't sure if he was going to ward or not, but he didn't have any wards. So he just kind of walking over, see if he can pressure mid a little bit. So I end up taking this buff here. It really helps with your Wriggles. So once I have that, I'm going to try and see Riven got a really good advantage top, so now she's pretty well off. I don't really have to worry about ganking top unless Amumu starts camping it. So right now these guys are really screwed as far as getting their buffs. So I take a ward and put it on Dragon, that's my Wriggles ward, and then I plop another ward in the brush that I bought. That's just in case they try and pull it into the brush, like if they all try and like come together and take the buff. So we see that Nunu's here. We see Amumu's coming up. We got a good wards over there. So you see here, I'm right over here, and Ryze is going to come over and camp right up over here. He's going to actually leash this just to try and bait them out. So we're going to kind of camp here. I see Orianna's coming, and I kind of sneak out of the brush to see what I can do. I just kind of send out a Dustbringer, and I can't really do a bunch. But we see that Nunu's coming up bottom, and Ezreal deals some really good damage to him. You see he's going to jump in, he's going to ignite him and hit him with a couple spells, and you see that's going to take Nunu out while he flashes, so that was a really nice kill. So now we know we have numbers advantage here. We don't know where Olaf is, but he went back. Riven, I saw him go back with Riven. So you see I ult in when I see she's slightly out of position, we end up taking her out. And you see that he's going to flash over this wall, so we can't get him. But we know that Vayne is right there, and we know that she's not going to be able to do a whole lot to us. So, like I said, I like to take the blue buff if I know ours is up. So I smite this, and I take the timer again. 13:52, just about. So at 18:52, I think I put 18:55 in chair. 18:51 is when we want to go back to their blue. So now that we have the numbers advantage, and we know Riven's pushing top, and a lot of them are missing, we're going to take Dragon. I told them I don't have smite, so we really have to deal a lot of good damage to it. So we end up taking this out, and then always put your buff timers in chat. There's no reason not to put buff timers in chat. So you see, it even tells you when you killed it now. So 14:13. So 6 minutes from then is when you do the next dragon. So 20:13 in chat. It should always be there. You should always be reminding yourself about these buffs. And you see that there's a little skirmish going on up top. Always make sure you're paying attention to the map when you're doing whatever you can. So you see I'm going to start running up, and you see that Ryze picks up a nice kill on that Nunu. So Amumu's running at Ryze, and I really have to try and help him. But first I'm going to come and try and pick this Vayne up. So you see here, I giving the Umbra Blades and picking her up, and you see that I use my spell shield just so I don't take any damage. And see, I noticed that Olaf is coming, and I overstayed my welcome a little bit, so I end up getting picked up down over by the mid turret. But I try and spell shield as much as I can. You see there I tried to land Unspeakable Horror on him, but I ended up getting picked up for my spree, and so did Rise. But you see right now I have a whole lot of gold. I'm sitting at about almost 2,000 gold. So the next item I really want to pick up, my next major item, is going to be a Wit's End. So you see I pick up a recurve bow, and you see it's really close to, I'm really close to being able to pick it up. So what I'm going to do is I end up selling my health potions in the ward, because I know my Wriggles ward's going to be up soon, or it is up. So I end up selling that, and the gold per 10 really helps with your money increase, so I just kind of wait in base for that 5-10 seconds and pick up my Wit's End. Boots are nice, but they don't really help your damage, and you're already running at about 400 movement speed with Boots 1, especially if you have the correct spec into the defense tree and the movement speed quints, so I don't really need it, so I end up picking this up in a second here. Whoops. Anyway, right at 1100 gold, I pick up the Wit's End, and I run to blue buff to give it to Rise. And you gotta remember the buffs. You see, 1851 is their blue, 2013 is Dragon. So I give Rise that blue, and I see that there's a big wave top. Remember, it's all about keeping your awareness up. So I just come over and try and clear this wave as much as I can. Just pick up as much of it. It's really nice to soak up some XP on Nocturne, especially when you're in the jungle, because you don't really get as much as you need. And you see, this is Olaf is 1 level up on me, and he's already afraid of me, so I really have nothing to worry about in this lane, and I see that there's at least 2 of them bottom, and Rise is preoccupying mid, so there's really not a ton you can do. See, Riven was down there, you see Mumu was also down there, so I'm just going to push this wave as hard as I can. I'm just going to Dustbringer it, Umbra Blades, just do whatever I can to it. And then I saw Mumu just died, so I was going to run away, but I saw his golems just spawned, so I'm just going to take out the golem, and I'm just going to run away. You always take the big one of the camp, because that gives you the XP, that gives you the health, and it gives the most gold. So always take that if you're counter-jungling someone. So I'm just going to go and clear some more camps. We got some turret gold there. So I pick up the wolves, I see my red spawn, so I'm going to go pick that up again. Remember, I post in chat again, they're blue in a minute, 1855, just so everyone knows, so they can all go back and buy their items. You see Riven's up here, getting ready to fight this Omen. So I'm just going to go clear some camps. I'm already in really good shape, I don't really have to worry about going back, so I think I run up and help. But if not, I'm just going to continue to clear camps, keep my lifesteal up, and you see Rise ends up picking up that Orianna kill with the help of Riven. So now they're all dead. I saw Nunu run up there, so I gave a little ping. I'm going to go and use my Wriggles ward and plant it right down by their blue again, just to guarantee that they don't get it. And you see Nunu just missed that ward as he walked by. That was just lucky timing on my part. So Ezreal's really preoccupying Vayne down in bottom lane. We know they're blue spawning in 25 seconds. So I let everyone know in chat, just get ready, their blue's coming. So Tarek's going to camp this over here. He's got triple gold per 10s, and that's under 20 minutes, so he's doing really good for himself. Bot lane's really picking it up. So we're just going to camp here until the blue spawns. They end up coming around in a second here. So I end up picking this up while Rise picks up mid-turret, and I'm just going to give this a smite, and I'm going to pick it up, and then 1858 was when we killed that blue. So 2358 is when the blue's coming. You see here, I have my ult up, so I don't quite ult on her because she flashes away. I wasn't sure if a flash was up or not. But we see they're going to be coming over to try and get their blue. So we see Amumu's coming with Orianna, and we see Rise is going to cut him off from one side. So I'm going to run in, and I'm going to land an Unspeakable Horror. I landed on Amumu. You see he ults, but I end up getting out of it with Orianna's ult. But you saw that Vayne came in from behind, and right when she came in from behind, I saw she was under 300, 400 health, so I ulted right away onto her, so no one could save her, and it deals a lot of damage, especially when you hit him at C. Like, this deals 350 damage right off the bat. So I end up taking her out, And I told everyone else I'm backing because I was a little low on health. I was under 1,000 health, and it's a little scary, so you need to be careful. But they ended up diving and taking out someone. And I know that dragon is also spawning soon, because I put that in chat. So we go up to chat, we see the dragon spawning at 2013. So I finish this buff, and I give him a few pings to back away, telling him the dragon spawning. Give a few pings at dragon. Let him know in chat. I have smite up. And remember, always, always, always check your smite damage. 695 for dragon. So they deal a lot of damage, and right when it gets under 695 health, give it a smite. But you pick that up. And then it says it in chat again. 2024. So 2624 dragon. And then 2358 there, blue. So, just always keep your timers going. If you're jungling, always, always, always keep timers on your buffs, on their buffs, on objectives. You just always need to keep them. So you see right now I'm sitting at 2,000 gold. So I'm going to go back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... Well, I'm not going to go back yet. I see that I almost have enough for Phage and for Mercury Treads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to Wraiths. And, see, I told Ezreal I needed Wraiths. So I'm going to run over to Wraiths and pick these up, and then that's going to give me enough gold to get Mercury Treads and a Phage. That's really the ideal build on Nocturne. I'll post a full build in the info after this video comes out, and give the full detail rundown and everything. But see, I just end up picking those up, and I know now I have plenty. I can find it. So I just go back. Merc Treads are going to cost 850, and Phage is 1350. So I know I definitely have enough. So you see here, I pick up the Phage, and I have enough for Merc Treads, and I have enough for a pot if I wanted it. But I have enough lifesteal and health right now. I'm sitting at 2100 health with 1.4 attack speed. So I'm looking pretty good at this point. You see, I have 117 farm, and Omen was at 57, so he's really far behind. He's level 8, and I'm level 12, so I'm 4 levels up on him. I'm stealing all of his major buffs. I'm stealing some of his jungle. So you see here, there's going to be a... We're going to go in for a little skirmish. You see, I'm going to ult onto Orion. We're going to take her out really quickly before her ult even comes down. So I'm going to go on this... you see, I put an exhaust down on him. You see, he's going to flash the wall, though. So we're not really going to be able to pick him up. You see that there's a fight going on up there. I was going to go dive him, but I decided to go help my team. They ended up picking it up. 4 for none. So we ended up doing really well right there. The surrender vote comes in right in 22.5 minutes. So that was a jungle Nocturne guide. Any questions you have, feel free to post them in the comments. Send me a message on YouTube. I'll post my Reddit account. My summoner name is Taters. Yep, and that's it. Good luck on the Fields of Justice.